Good morning, everybody. This is Susie Taylor with the Montana Science Olympiad. We're not quite ready to roll yet, but I see that we have quite a few people coming into the room. And if you want to practice using the Q&A, I'm going to ask you a question, and you can type in that Q&A box and just get a feel for how that's going to work. So my question for you today is, are there any animals near to you right now? If there's any animals near to you, use that Q&A box and type to us and let us know. I should say, what animals are they too? If there are animals nearby, what are they? And again, just to practice, let's go ahead and use the Q&A box. You might see a chat box, but we're going to use the Q&A box. In fact, I may even close that chat box. So if you're just coming into the room, we are just getting started, and I have asked a question so you can practice using the Q&A box. If there are any animals near to you today while you're competing in Science Olympiad, go ahead and type in that Q&A box. What animals are near to you this morning? Okay, I see somebody's near to fish. Cool. I don't know if that's, are you by a river or a lake or maybe an aquarium? Not sure, but one of our Science Olympians is near to fish this morning. If you're just coming in, we're practicing using the Q&A. And I've asked everybody, what animals are near to you today while you are competing in Science Olympiad? Go ahead and type them in the Q&A box. And Nick, maybe I'm going to pass the mic over to you and let you kind of tell us if you want to follow along in that Q&A box. If you're just coming in, we are just practicing using the Q&A box. I have asked everybody, what animals are near to you today while you're competing in Science Olympiad?
Susie, we're seeing a lot of dogs, some specific breeds like golden retrievers and poodles. We're seeing some birds, some reference to birds, and cats. Some people don't have any pets, but are curious if humans nearby count, and I think they probably do.
Awesome.
Lots of birds. A tortoise, that's pretty unique. Named I just lost it. Named Voldator, maybe Voldemort, maybe. Birds and squirrels out the window. We're seeing some more dogs. Lots of dogs, it looks like. That's pretty popular. I've got two dogs that are snoring behind me, so you might hear them in the background. Oh,
awesome. I know, I'm trying to keep my cat out.
We have the tortoise named Voltor. That is very creative. I love that. Some deer.
Awesome. And I'll just say, as people are coming into the room, we're just doing a quick test of our Q&A here. If you would like to type in the Q&A box, what animals are near to you today while you're competing in Science Olympiad?
We continue to see a lot of cats and dogs coming up in the responses. Cats and dogs certainly seem to be some of the more popular. Birds too. An Idaho shag, a type of dog. I don't think I've ever heard of that type of dog. A lot of geese. It seems like the geese on their way south through the flyway or seem to be landing just about everywhere.
Awesome. So again, I see a lot of people coming into the room. We have asked a question that you can answer in the Q&A. What animals are near to you this morning while you're competing in Science Olympiad? And Nick, I want to do a quick check. Can you see my video or just the slide?
We can see the slide and then we can see you too, Susie.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to turn off the slide and we will go live. Alrighty, good morning, everybody. I'm gonna flip the screen real quickly here. If you're just coming in, I'm Susie Taylor. I'm with the Montana Science Olympiad. My colleague, Dr. Nick Lux, is here with me. And as people are coming into the room, we have asked the question that you can answer in the Q&A. What animals are near to you today while you're competing in Science Olympiad? I think we'll keep this going just for another minute or so. I think it was maybe a little bit slow to get into the room today. So if you're just coming in, let us know what animals are near to you today while you're competing in Science Olympiad. And Nick will shout some of those out for you.
We continue to see a good mix of animals outside and animals inside the house. Cats and guinea pigs, some stuffed animals too, worth recognizing, robins and geese. 2 fish and more humans. I love the fact that everyone is recognizing humans, middle schoolers and high school students.
Awesome, I love it. All right, cool. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and get started here. We'll still have a few people trickling in, and I thank everybody for joining. If you came in a little bit late, I'm Susie Taylor. I'm director of the Science Math Resource Center at Montana State University. We're the ones who host the Science Olympiad every year, and I want to thank you for being here with us today. I'm joined by my colleague, Dr. Nick Lux. He's going to help us with some of our chat and activities here today. And then I want to say a big thank you to my colleagues, Asan Salam, Dr. Fengjian Lau, and Monty Meyerink. I know they're nearby. They're probably doing some last minute work to get ready for today's tournament, but I really want to thank them for everything they've done. So normally we would be welcoming you to our beautiful campus in Bozeman. I tried to do the best I could and have a little virtual MSU campus behind me. But for those of you who are new to Science Olympiad, it's really a fun experience. We have the STEM night at the Museum of the Rockies, and the night before, we have the Spirit of the West Marching Band. You get to meet all our fabulous MSU students and professors, probably go to the bookstore, eat a bunch of food at our cool cafeteria. So we're really bummed that you're not here in Bozeman, but we sure hope that everything is back to normal next year. Okay, so before we get started with a couple of housekeeping items and rules, I want to use the Q&A again. And if this is your first time using the Q&A, take a look for that box where you're going to use the Q&A instead of the chat. And I'm going to ask you the question, where are you today? So basically, what town are you in today? And then Dr. Lux is going to tell us what he sees coming through on that Q&A. So go ahead and use that Q&A box and tell us, where are you today?
We're seeing responses from west to east, Susie, Missoula, Huntley Project, Corvallis, Boulder, more Corvallis in Missoula, Helena, Montana, and Thompson Falls. Helena, lots of Helena. We got a Livingston response. So again, west to east and in the middle. East Helena schools, Missoula, Thompson Falls in Sanders County, Hamilton down the Bitterroot, and Corvallis. Lots of those Bitterroot schools. Keep those
Awesome.
locations coming, everyone.
Yeah, awesome. That's super cool. It really is nice. When I looked at the list of the schools, you are coming from all over Montana. It really is awesome. And normally, some of you might get to take that really long bus ride, get to spend the night, find out who snores, who's got the best music. So sorry we couldn't do it this year, but I'm pretty glad to be able to be with you today virtually. So we're going to do one more little game here with our Q&A, and this is a game of I Spy. So I'm going to say, I spy with my little eye, and then you're going to type in the Q&A what you see with what you spy with your little eye. So I spy with my little eye something red. And for me, that is my red pencil cup that holds all my pens and pencils. So what do you see? What do you spy with your little eye? Something red.
We're seeing Rubik's Cubes and plants, cups, more cups, and more walls and cards and tablecloths. The disconnect button on the Webex, that one's creative. Nicely done. Uno cards, red bags and books and water bottles, more Rubik's Cubes. A lot of Rubik's Cubes out there. I bet you can all solve those pretty quickly. Fire extinguishers and books and sunglasses. Bacon duct tape. That one might take the most creative award.
Yeah, I want bacon duct tape.
Yeah. Mute buttons and posters. Lots of red stuff, Susie.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to do one more. I spy with my little eye something that is used to do science. What do you see in your world that's something that is used to do science?
Sorry, I had a little unmute issue there. Lots of stuff coming up. My brain, a lot of brains, pencils, computers, water, beakers and liquid, a skeleton, uh, balances, a lot of beakers, notebooks. That's great. Notebooks, yeah. A Mission Impossible machine, pardon me. Laminators and computers and microscopes and TVs and brains. I love the brains that keep popping up. Calculators and computers, a mousetrap car, and more duct tape. I wonder if that's bacon duct tape. Lots of great suggestions, Susie.
Awesome. That's cool. Well, I'm so glad that you're surrounded by science objects that inspire you today. And I really want to say a huge thank you to everybody for being here. I mean, man, this year has been so crazy in so many ways. When we first started thinking in the summer about doing a tournament this fall, it was just really hard to even fathom that it could be possible. We started thinking about how can we do this at MSU with lots of hand wash stations and masks and keeping people separate. And it just became really clear that that wasn't going to happen. So we flipped over to the virtual tournament. I know it has not been easy. There's been a really steep learning curve for all of us. But I really want to thank you for doing it. And to those coaches who have helped you along, I really hope someday you get this opportunity to talk about this in a job interview or a scholarship application, because we've been sending info to you like sometimes to the very last minute, and you have been resilient and patient. And, you know, we're going to find out things today that we didn't even know were going to happen. So just know that I'm really proud of you today, and I want to encourage you to have fun. There may be some things that are frustrating, but we'll work through it. So have fun and have a good day. I do have to go over just a couple of rules really quickly. These are things that we've probably talked about before, but I just want to emphasize those for you. So I do want to talk about the Science Olympiad Code of Ethics. And basically that's just saying that as you're a competitor with us today, you have agreed to abide by the rules of Science Olympiad and show good sportsmanship and honesty and integrity in everything you do. So I really appreciate everybody just really following that code and doing your very best just to be a good competitor today. We are doing the mini SO environment, which is meant to simulate students who are learning at home. Some of our kids are competing from home. They're not back in school. I know some of you are back in school. But basically what that means is if you're working with a partner, even if you happen to be in school together, you need to be in separate places. There is a way for you to collaborate within the Scilympiad environment, but you can't be right next to each other with the way you would be at a normal tournament. One note about Scilympiad, so there's a feature in Scilympiad that shows if you've gone outside of the browser, and basically that's kind of to keep people from Googling answers. We don't want that to happen. We want you to use the resources that you have and the hard work that you've put in. So do your best to not go outside the browser. I would probably suggest turning off your email or any notifications or anything like that. And then last, I want to mention, if you have any technical difficulties today, like especially if your internet goes out or an upload form doesn't work, just take a deep breath, work with your coach, and we will work with you to solve it. If you can take a screenshot of something that's troubling you, just do that for us. One of the reasons that we put off holding our award ceremony until almost a week from now is so we can work with you. Like, we want everybody to be able to compete. And if something happens, don't worry, we're gonna make it work. So just take a deep breath and we'll get through it. Okay, so we're going to wrap up with just a couple last polls, and then we'll see if you have any questions. I did want to say a welcome. We actually have not one, but two brand new high schools with us. We have the Raptors of Gallatin High School and the Vigilantes of East Helena High School. These are both brand new high schools, so that's super cool that you have teams with us today. Okay, so next we're going to move away from the Q&A, and I'm actually going to open a poll for you. Hopefully you'll see this when I pop it up, and I'm going to ask, how long have you been competing in Science Olympiad? Hopefully that poll has shown up for you, and you can just go ahead and click where we are. Nick, maybe I'll have you also, what are you seeing on this poll here?
We don't have anything shown yet, Susie, but I imagine that if it's like it was when we tested it, we should start seeing some results here in a second.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm actually
Oh,
seeing.
you know what, Susie? I'm sorry. I don't think it will. I don't think it'll show results until you close it.
Okay. Oh, okay, got it. Let's do maybe just 15 more seconds here for people to put in their answers. How long have you been competing in Science Olympiad?
Hey, Susie, while your people are thinking about that response, I've seen some questions, sort of procedural questions coming up in the Q&A. Is there a time when those students can ask those questions specifically, or how should they go about getting those answers?
Yeah, we'll do that at the very end of this session. And I see we're almost coming up on 9:40. So I'm going to close this poll, and then we'll do one more, and then we'll move into those questions that you may have. So here's our poll. I'm going to share the results with you. And were you able to see that okay?
Yeah, we can see it on our end. We got a lot of first year and 2 to 3 years. Some people, about 6% of people, 4 of you have been doing it for 4 to 5 years, and then 8 of you have been doing it for more than 5 years. That's amazing.
Okay, awesome. And I think because we do have some questions, I might cut the poll short. I do want to do one last Q&A, so we're going to flip back to that. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to think of somebody around you who really embodies the spirit of Science Olympiad. So it could be a teammate, your coach, or maybe it's even you. And I want you to write 2 or 3 positive words about that person. So somebody who embodies the spirit of Science Olympiad, what qualities do they have? Go ahead and fire those off in the Q&A. And Nick, maybe I'll let you kind of
Yeah,
share some of those that you see.
we're seeing a lot of responses about coaches and people's siblings, and also people sharing sort of those characteristics that they seem to see, like persistence and passion and curiosity. A lot of siblings and partners. Their coaches they're finding to be supportive and curious. Teammates, a lot of team pride here. That's fantastic. Bright, happy, helpful, hardworking, and intelligent, encouraging and inspiring, supportive and curious. That word curious keeps coming up often, Susie.
Awesome.
Local
I
Ace
love it.
Hardware, helping out with their unusual requests.
Very cool. All right, well, keep them coming. I know we're almost at 9:40, and I want to be sure that we can answer some of the questions that you've had. The last thing I want to do is give a huge tribute to our seniors. I can't even imagine what it would have been like to finish high school in a year like this when everything is just so topsy-turvy. So I'm going to give a round of applause to all the seniors in the room. I hope if you're near to one that you give them a pat on the back, give them a round of applause. And thank you so much to our seniors. Thanks to our coaches for everything you've done. And now I am going to leave these last couple of minutes for any questions that you may have. Nick, maybe I'll let you kind of moderate those questions and I'll see what we can do.
Yeah, sure. If people could put the questions in the chat, there was some people just saying they had general questions, and then there was one that I'm trying to find that was about where they get the links. Let me see if I
Okay,
can
yeah.
find that.
So the links for some of the events don't appear until you're actually in the event. So those links will be inside Olympiad, including some of them where if you're doing actually a live interview with the judges, those links will be inside Olympiad when your event opens. And I did see a few questions about going out of the browser to upload those links. That is totally fine. You're actually not deducted for points if you go out of the browser. It would just be if you're out of the browser the whole time, the event supervisor might think that kind of implies that you're Googling answers. So don't worry if you have to pop out to upload something. And also, quite a few of the upload links are on our events page. Those are all the ones that have been posted there all along.
And then specific questions about actual events, Susie, is that best to be asked of the people that are moderating those events?
Yeah, that's probably true unless you're seeing like a one that keeps coming up again and again.
Something about there's several questions around the helicopter flight. Are they allowed to practice, and does it have an interview with the judges?
Yeah, let me talk about helicopters because that is a complicated one. It is only video. You're not actually doing an interview with the judges, and it is a 50-minute period. So you're going to go real fast. You can do some practice flights. However, you just have to make sure that you get everything in and uploaded within the 50 minutes. So basically, when you open your contest at your designated time, it's going to give you a code word and you have to say that code word in your video. So if the code word is Montana, you would introduce yourself and your team and you would say the code word for my time slot is Montana. And then you would do your videoing and you'd want to have that uploaded to the judges within the 50 minutes.
Let's see, and then and then I think some like real specifics about how's the circuit lab going to go. Some questions about the astronomy event. Um, Trying to see if there's any other like real general ones. Some students,
Okay, so
one student suggesting when they go to access the events, they're told they are not assigned to a tournament yet.
okay, I'm gonna have you check with your head coach on that one for sure. Your coach needs to assign you to those events. I see one about Circuit Lab. That's just an online test this time. Normally there's a hands-on component, but this year it's just an online test. So when you go to Olympiad and that opens up, you will be asked a bunch of questions about that event.
What about more than 3 touches in shoot, I just lost it. More than three touches in Mission Possible.
Oh boy, that is an event specific question that I might have to ask your event supervisor. I do see a couple questions about interviews with the judges. So you will be doing an interview for vehicle design. If you're in B or C, you will be meeting with the event supervisors to talk about your plans. Mission Possible is live with the judges. You're actually going to demonstrate your device, so make sure that's ready to go when you get in there. And then if anybody is in agricultural sciences, that also has a live interview. And if you're having any trouble like accessing your events or you're not seeing what's there, please talk to your coach. Some of or all of the events don't appear until the time that they're released. So if you're in a 10 a.m. contest, you won't be able to get into that contest prior to 10 o'clock. And yeah, definitely, if you're having trouble with access or not seeing your events, please talk to your coach. And the coaches have a special Webex room where our team is waiting and they can go there and ask those questions. I saw a question about collaborating with your partner without going out of the browser. That's actually inside Olympiad. So there's a chat box there where you both are connected and you will be chatting with your partner in Olympiad.
What about time limits for Mission Possible, and what time does it start at? Those sound like specific questions for the coaches, huh?
Yeah, Mission Possible starts at 1 o'clock today. And yeah, that might be a question that your coach can ask to us in the Webex room. I saw a question about notes, and yes, you would just have those notes sitting near to you, notes, binders, any of the resources that go with the contest. You would just have that with you while you're doing the contest.
And then again, Susie, a few questions around the getting the links to the different events, the WebEx links.
Okay, yeah, those will appear when that contest opens. So if you're in an 11 o'clock slot for an event, at 11 o'clock, when that event opens, that link will be there for you to go to the WebEx room and meet with the judges.
Some questions about events overlapping and a time swap. That's something I'm not familiar with. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I think I know what they might be asking. So basically, if you have an exam or sorry, an event that starts at 10, the conflict for that event is at 11. But the way it appears on your schedule is kind of just like the whole event goes from 10 until 12. So if you're taking the event at the main slot, 10 o'clock, just go at 10. If you're taking the conflict, go at 11, and that should open up for you and be okay. And I just want to be cognizant of the time. It's 9:45. I'm happy to stay here and answer questions for people, but if you need to meet with your coach or get ready for one of your exams, that's totally fine. I'll just keep going here and see if we have any more questions that we can field for you.
I think those questions have come to us slow, Susie.
Okay, so I would encourage you to work with your coach. We have a couple different ways that they can connect with us today. We have a WebEx room that's just for coaches. It'll be kind of like this, but they can pop in at any time and ask. They can email us. They can call our main phone number. I think I did see a question about helicopters. You can have another person help you wind the helicopter. They just can't actually help you with the flight of the helicopter. I know that's really, you can't really do it by yourself. So it's okay to have a parent or your coach or another person help you to wind up that helicopter before you do your flights. I see a question about write it, do it. And yes, the writer will get a picture. It will be a two-dimensional image, and they have to write how your doer would recreate that picture. I did see somebody ask about unmuting. We actually have it set up so we can't. We were just worried about having too many voices all at once. Sorry about that. But if you can type in the chat or the Q&A, we can help you out. Timers on the helicopter flight. You do not have to have the 3 timers. I'm sorry for any confusion on that one. If you have, let's see, I am going to see, I'm not sure I can give you, I don't think I can type our email address, but I will say it to you. And if you have a longer question, why don't you email it to us? The email is mtsciolly@montana.edu. So mtsciolly@montana.edu. If you have a long question and want to send it to that address, we can get back to you. What do you think, Nick? Are we seeing any questions still coming in that we haven't hit?
Sorry, Susie, it takes a long time for my mute to be unmuted.
Yeah,
It does not look like any new questions have come in that haven't been answered.
yeah, okay. Oh, I see one, setting up Mission Possible with the partner. I think as long as you're following the spirit of the event, which is basically people are supposed to be separated, I think that is okay to work with your partner to get that set up, as long as it's just one person who is demonstrating it.
Two other questions just came in, Susie. One about fossils and the time limit for it, and then another participant sharing that it looks like only one person can get into the event or the test.
Okay, so fossils is a 50-minute test. And boy, if the other person can't get in, I guess my concern is that maybe they somehow weren't registered for that event. You might talk to your coach real quick and make sure that both people are registered for the event. I see a question about helicopters, single-bladed rotors or the double-bladed rotors, I think it was. There were two options for using different rotors. If you just use one type, just fill in that form. And if it's still kind of unclear, there's a box at the bottom where you can write a question or clarification to the event supervisor. And then you can kind of clarify or ask your question there. I can also, I know the helicopter event is pretty complicated, so you might want to channel those questions through your coach. And if we're getting a lot of questions of the same type, we'll be sure to blast those out to everybody. I see somebody, how do I log in? Again, I'm going to have you work with your coach. Each student should have their own event username and password for logging into Olympiad. Nick, I'm just doing a big scroll here. I do want to tell everybody, if you have a conflict, we're going to work with you. Don't not compete because it looks like you can't make it happen. We're going to make that happen for you. So please have your coach email or talk to us about a conflict, and we'll make sure that you get to compete. Alrighty, well, I see we're almost at 10 o'clock. Nick, I'll do a quick check-in with you and see if you think we can wrap up for now.
Yeah, one other, it looks like one more question just came in about not being assigned to any event.
Okay, yeah, that would be a coach question. Your coach actually assigns you to your events. So talk to your coach and make sure that your coach has put you into that event. So the coach has to put you on the team and then put you into the event. Okay, and if you're still having trouble, have your coach visit our Webex room or email us, and we'll work real fast to get that resolved and get you into your event. Okay, well, our events are starting in just a few minutes, so I've got to head out and start checking on that. Again, I want to give a huge thank you to everybody. Please just be patient, have a lot of grace today. Give a big thank you to your coaches because they've done a great job getting you ready today. I'm very proud of you, and I hope you have a really fun day. We're going to work with you if anything's not working today. Again, take a deep breath. Let's figure it out together. We're going to make it happen for everybody. So have a great tournament and hope to see you all in Bozeman next time for the tournament.
Have fun, everyone. Good luck.